you stop making movies, it'll break your mother's heart.
I don't know what to do anymore.
You do what your heart says you have to. What was your favorite part?
Centaur, your kind of company.
With Express Plus, you can stream on the go or stream at home. Stream the latest movies, telenovelas, series, anime, or music videos from your favorite local artists. Sign up now with Centaur's Express Plus.
How to win $1,000 cash per branch.
Install or update to Express Plus streaming app. Also win another $1,000 cash per branch. Update your account balance up to December. Update your personal information to get your e-ticket. Drawing date January 5th, 2024 on the Despierta Belize Morning Show. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Centaur's family.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Faceta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Today's House sitting saw a number of bills presented by the Briseno administration. However, among one of the most significant was a presentation by Minister of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, Honorable Francis Fonseca. Government will assume responsibility for 100% of salaries and benefits of teaching and non-teaching staff of all grant-aided secondary and tertiary institutions across the country. The additional payment will come to a total of $64.8 million in the next 5 years.
Mr. Speaker, I will provide a brief statement on what I regard as a very, very important and historic decision by the government of Belize, Ministry of Education, our cabinet. And that decision is to pay the full 100% salaries and service benefits of all grant-aided secondary and tertiary level educational institutions in Belize. Oh, Madam Speaker, this is a long-standing issue, one I have long regarded personally as an injustice, really, a historic injustice to the teachers who have been affected by it. Now, I want to be very clear in what we're doing. Ministry of Education requested Cabinet's approval and support for meeting, and this again is it's all tied to part of our negotiations and discussions over many years with the joint unions and with the teachers, Belize National Teachers Union in particular. I'll refer to it shortly, but the current CBA is outstanding for 14 years. And so what this decision does is really providing for the Ministry of Education, the government of Belize, to pay the full 100% salaries and service benefits of all grant-aided secondary and tertiary level institutions, educational institutions in Belize. So teachers and administrators, all teaching staff, will benefit from full 100% pension, allowances, and service benefits.
This decision is expected to take effect at the start of the 2024-2025 academic school year and will benefit over 800 full-time secondary and tertiary teachers and close to 200 non-teaching support staff.
Our own Belize Education Sector Plan 2021-2025 under Key Result Area 2.3 speaks to the issue of teacher development, elevating the profession, and targets the objective of transforming teacher education, developing aligned programs, and incentivizing quality teaching practices and performance results for improved student learning. The training of teachers, keeping the employment package for trained teachers attractive, and offering incentives for quality performance at the secondary and tertiary level understandably requires increased salary allocations and additional funding for training and performance incentives. So signing on to Proposal 22, subsection 1, provides the machinery to financially incentivize quality teaching practices, implement results-based education, and properly hold all secondary and tertiary institutions and their staff accountable. Currently, Madam Speaker, there are 728 teachers at the 30 grant-aided secondary schools, which represent 50.7% of secondary school teachers nationwide. The 151 lecturers at the 8 grant-aided tertiary institutions represent 53% of tertiary-level educators nationally. The combined population, 879 teachers and lecturers of grant-aided secondary and tertiary institutions, will receive 100% salaries, full pensions, and service benefits starting 2024.
Speaking on behalf of the opposition today, former Minister of Education and Area Representative for Colette, Honorable Patrick Faber, raised concerns over certain points of the decision and how it will be paid over forward.
He mentioned that they're bringing on these schools and that they will pay the full pension now. But I am not clear, Madam Speaker, as to what will happen with those persons who are now pensionable, just coming on, they're just retiring. What will happen to those persons who have worked? Let's make an example of somebody who is teaching for 25 years, has 5 years more to go in the system. The problem has always been what will happen to those 25 years when the formula was 70-30? Who will pay that portion? And I'm not clear if the minister is saying that the government is committing to take on all that back payment of that 30% for all the years of those service that the teachers did in those years. The other thing, Madam Speaker, is that I'm not hearing clearly from him, and I hope he could elucidate, that they will cover full pensions for all of these teachers and that there is no contribution on the part of teachers in the making any at all. I would want him to elucidate on that for primary school teachers and for secondary school teachers. Will there be a contributory pension? Is there one in the pipeline? Because if we're giving the teachers full pay, 100% as opposed to the 70-30 at the secondary level, and then the intention is to come back and say, all right, you have to contribute to the pension, plus all the primary school teachers. No, then you're giving with one hand and taking, but that's...
They can.
Thank you.
Remember, it's not a debate.
And thank you.
In response, Minister Fonseca clarified that the increases are not retroactive and that ongoing pension reform continues in discussion with the union.
The Honourable Member for Collett raised the issue of where we move forward. As I said, this takes effect 2024. It is not retroactive. It takes effect 2024 moving forward. But teachers who are in the system will benefit from it, those who retire after 2024. So there's a lot of work has gone into this, a lot of analysis, a lot of data, and it's unfortunate you can't we would love to, under some ideal circumstances, to be able to cover everybody. You have teachers who, the chief education officer herself just retired last year, will not be able to benefit from it. That's the reality, but we have to make a start. We have to correct the injustice, and we have to get it right. So that's where we are. In terms of pension reform, that is an ongoing discussion we're having at the joint union level. Pension reform, we've started that process. So that, obviously, that is something that we have to take into account. Obviously, pension reform is coming, and a contributory pension scheme is a part of the process. But absolutely, this is historic. This is fundamentally a fundamental change. And it, as I said earlier, it is in keeping with our own commitment to incentivize the teaching profession.
Today, in a milestone achievement for the government of Belize, Prime Minister of Belize tabled a bill which will restore ownership of the commercial port in Belize City. This decision was taken in an effort to end a prolonged standoff between the Ashcraft Alliance and the government about the port's modernization, worker conditions, and controversial plans for a cruise port on the site. In a lengthy presentation today, Prime Minister delved deeper into the Port Acquisition and Settlement Deeds Bill 2023, which seeks authorization to purchase the post along with 600 acres of adjoining land for the reduced price of $83.37 million and to appropriate $15 million for the resolution of the long outstanding judgment awards.
The government of Belize will reacquire for the people of Belize the commercial port of Belize City. The port of Belize will be back in public hands. This bill seeks approval and funding to conclude this historic takeover. The purchase price of the port has been agreed at US $83,370,000. We can confidently declare that at this price, and if the current profits of the port can be maintained as they will be, the profits can themselves finance the purchase. In other words, there will be no need for any taxpayer monies to pay for the purchase of this port. And of equal consequence are the positive changes in store for the private sector, for port workers, for consumers, and for the economy. Over and over, there have been calls for improvements to the port and to an end to hostilities between the port operator and the stevedores, for a modernization plan to enhance efficiency for importers, exporters, and consumers, and for the port to become a logistics hub that enhances the country's competitiveness. This administration heard the call, heeded the call, and is today acting to answer the call.
The bill also confirms the withdrawal of all Ashcraft claims and cases against government, including the Waterloo UK-Belize Treaty claim, a lawsuit against the Christian Workers Union and the stevedores claiming business interruption damages, and the various claims against the Ministry of Sustainable Development.
Therefore, government has negotiated a steeply discounted settlement of 9 cents on every dollar of the award, plus legal fees of $7 million for a total settlement of $15.3 million from $200 million, Madam Speaker. So the settlement sum is a reduction from $204.9 million Belize dollars to $30.6 million Belize dollars. Let the enormity of that discount, of the savings achieved for the people of Belize, sink in. For every dollar we owed, we will be paying 15 cents. As with the port acquisition, governments steadfastly refused to pay at par claim or anything close to par, refused an all US dollar cash demand, and instead proposed to pay $7 million up front and the remainder by way of a 2-year Belize dollar treasury note carrying interest at 3.5%. The threat to sell these awards to so-called vulture funds loomed large in the negotiations. And while we were prepared to fight off any adversary in Belize's interests, settling at this substantial markdown serves the national interest. Let me explain what vulture funds is. As the name implies, these are companies that feed on the carcasses of unpaid debts and awards, including for sovereigns, and these funds underwrite millions in legal and advisory fees with the expectation of eventually collecting outstanding awards.
We will have more on this bill on Friday's newscast, as it is still being debated at this moment inside the House of Representatives in Belmopan. At the heels of numerous fatal road traffic accidents, Honorable Rodwell Ferguson, Minister of Youth, Sports and Transportation, has signed 3 critical statutory instruments to strengthen road safety measures. The Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Seatbelts Amendment Regulations 2023 mandates the use of seatbelts for all passengers in a motor vehicle. The law outlines the type of vehicles exempted and the process for requesting exemptions to this regulation. In the case of the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Electronic Devices Regulations 2023, it addresses the prohibition of electronic device use while driving, exceptions to this prohibition, and limitations. The Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Speed Measuring Devices Amendment Regulations 2023 also allows the Department of Transport to identify speed measuring devices to enforce speed limits. All 3 regulations include penalties for non-compliance and will come into effect on March 1st, 2024. The ministry reminds the public that the law limits the length of equipment on highways to 80 feet. Trucks towing double-hitch 40-foot trailers must stop immediately to avoid illegal penalties. It is illegal to have extra lights that may distract oncoming vehicles. The Department of Transport and the Police Department will actively monitor highways to prevent such violations. Also, vehicles will be inspected during license renewals for additional lighting not originally built into them. Earlier this week, the Supplies Control Unit SCU in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise announced the completion of the first round of establishment inspections for compliance with provisions of the new supplies control regulations between September 1st and November 3rd, 2023. During this period, the SCU is reporting that a total of 59 establishments from a total of 112 were issued tickets for violations of the regulations. In an interview with Controller of Supplies Lennox Nicholson, He gave an update on the ongoing second round of inspections, which has seen over 80 stores visited across the country.
What was released yesterday was a list of some 59 establishments. To date, we have exceeded 80 actually. So the work continues, as I mentioned, though the results from the subsequent inspections will be released, I expect mid to late January. You will find in that that certain gaps that may have been in the first list, you will find that those would have been closed. You will see output from places like perhaps Placencia, more output from the 2 northern districts, and some additional representation from the Stan Creek district, Dangriga in particular. So we did the first round, and of course, as you go along, you want to ensure that your coverage is as comprehensive as possible. So we are continuing that work, and like I mentioned, that 59, the running total right now has exceeded 80.
Nicholson is also encouraging residents to send any report of suspected violation of the Supplies Control Regulation to the Supplies Control Unit.
And I can tell you, between yesterday and today, we have gotten some activity on that line. I think that now that the public sees that there's actually output and their action will actually be taken when they provide us with the information, they seem more prepared to participate and more willing to take the time to make the complaints to us. And we appreciate that very much. It definitely helps us to be more targeted in our inspections and allow us to be a bit more efficient in the way in which we deploy our resources. So we would encourage the public to continue to provide us with that feedback.
Coming up next, PCC holds consultation with office personnel at the Corozal Town Council. Stay tuned.
¿Cómo ganar $1,000 en efectivo por sucursal?
Instale o actualice la aplicación de Transmisión Express Plus. ¿Cómo ganar otros $1,000 en efectivo por sucursal? Actualice el saldo de su cuenta a diciembre. Actualice sus datos personales para obtener su boleto electrónico. El sorteo será el 5 de enero del 2024 en el programa Despierta Belice. La gerencia y personal de Centaur le desea a clientes y amigos una feliz Navidad y un próspero año nuevo.
By now, you may already know that the People's Constitution Commission is tasked with conducting a comprehensive review of the Belize Constitution. Over the past months, the 23 organizations that comprise the Commission have embarked on an educational campaign, holding consultations across the country and in the diaspora, creating and maintaining a record of the views and opinions shared during this exercise. Thereafter, a final report detailing its findings will be prepared and presented to the Prime Minister. In Corozal, the PCC committee met with office personnel of the Corozal Town Council to listen to their concerns and recommendations in regard to the Constitution.
Today, we are here at the Corozal Town Council, and for us, it's very important that we reach out to this group. They are the heart of the town. You know, we interact with Corozal Town Council on a daily basis, and ensuring that they are conversant with the Constitution is going to be key not only for the success on what they need to get done, but also for the benefit of the people, because they're the ones who guide the people, interact with the people on a daily basis. And if they are conversant with the fundamental rights and freedoms of those who they serve, then I think the rapport, the relationship is going to improve significantly. So it goes beyond just this exercise. It goes to show that knowing the Constitution will help them to have better relationship with the people they serve. I have an amazing team here in Corozal, which I'll take the time to big them up right now. Ms. Maria Gutierrez, Ms. Clarissa Ramirez, Ms. Joanna Magana, and Commissioner Tea Garcia Ramirez, who is representing the North as well. We have been ensuring that every single person becomes aware. So we engage on a house-to-house, especially in the villages, where we cannot depend on Facebook and Twitter and all these social media forums. We have to go back to the old days of knocking people's doors and sitting in their kitchens by the fogon and you know, just having these discussions. It's important.
A similar session was carried out with field workers. One pivotal topic of discussion was one's right to vote.
If we look at elections, for example, where do the majority of voters come from? And yet we tend to not want to listen to their voices or go to the extent of having to walk through mud to reach them. That's key, and that's what we have been doing here in Corozal. Through rain, through storms, through a ferry that we almost slide off from. You know, it's been quite an adventure, but I believe one that is fulfilling, because we can see that the people are anxious and tired of the status quo when it comes to the running of our country. And this is giving them an opportunity for their voices, for the first time, they feel can be heard. You see, when we look at the Constitution, we look at location, because voting appears, but it's not appearing under our fundamental rights. So is it something that we want to move from where it is currently located and place it as a fundamental right for us who live in Belize, Belizeans? And, you know, we have the diaspora who's playing a key role in this process as well. How does this impact them? You know, if it becomes a fundamental right to vote, what impact does it have? The way we are seeing the ability to vote in this country is connected to a constituency. Does that disenfranchise those who are living abroad, probably serving Belize, and are not in any constituency? These are the types of conversations that are coming up. Where do we want to see the power of the Belizean voice? Because it comes through voting. Do we want to make it a fundamental right? Do we want to move it from where it is currently located to ensure that we make it a fundamental right that we can protect?
And should it be moved to a fundamental right, though? It comes with pros and cons. One of them may be that if it becomes a fundamental right, then you not going up to vote on voting day puts you at breach of the law, and that can come with whatever consequences.
And that's why it's interesting, and that's why we invite people to come to these forums, because then the legal experts can guide you through these processes. As we've learned in some of these forums, a right is something that exists. It's not given to you. It's there for you to ensure that if you want to use it, it's there.
With other sessions already lined up, Schumann took the opportunity to invite the public to be part of this important consultation.
Tomorrow we have a public one at the Wrong House, and And to encourage more people to come, we have some little prizes. Everybody who's going to be present can participate and get a little prize. It's Christmas time, so we want to do some little giveaways if you participate and you're present. And it's all to benefit the people, because like I always say, knowledge is power. When we think we know, but we don't really do, that's when people take advantage of us. So I really wish that we see more participation countrywide, and that, you know, we continue this door to door. Next week, Friday, we're having our final education campaign awareness at Corozal Central Park. We're going to end up with a big, we want to do it large. And so we are going to be blocking the streets around Central Park. We're going to have Mr. Ed Usher, Dickie Bradley. We're going to have the Vice Chair of the People's Constitution Commission, the marching bands and the schools' involvement, and poetry competition. For those who want to write their poems, we have some prizes for you if you are chosen as the best poem. If you like to paint and you want to paint depicting what are your fundamental rights or what you would like to see as your fundamental rights, we welcome you. We have a prize for you for the winning piece. The same for those who want to do pop-up shops. We are welcoming you to come to the Central Park, set up your booth, and you can also enter the banner and theme competition, where the best team, and we will have some judges who will be judging the team, that promotes, believes in the Constitution and this work that we're doing right now. If you are chosen as the winner, a little cash prize for you too. There's no fee for you to come up and bring your business, set up your booths. That's going to be happening next week, Friday, December 15th. And so I encourage people, all this is being done to bring awareness, because we're going to use this forum to continue educating, for you to have a forum where you can ask questions, where you can leave with knowledge, and with that you leave with power too.
The People's Constitution Commission Committee Corozal is closing off its public sessions on Friday, December 15, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Corozal Central Park, and everyone is invited to be part of the discussion. People in the debate world have long known about the benefits of the activity from an academic perspective. Carlos Magana, a professor at the Galen's extended CMJC campus in San Roman, Corozal, knows the facts too well and decided to engage his students of the university in a debate. Nonetheless, it would not be a random topic. He chose existing aspects of our Belizean sphere, good governance, and democracy. In recent times, citizens have been debating both topics around the dinner table. But last night, students enrolled in the ethics course are the ones who had the opportunity of divulging deeply into the nits of the conversation.
What we do during the course, we discuss different topics that have to do with governance. Governance in the government, and then we also do governance on the private sector. But today's function or focus was mainly on governmental issues or government administration. We didn't really look into the concept of the private sector, which plays a huge role in that, because if the private sector, is complacent with the government, then corruption exists. If the private sector does not support actions that are not transparent, then automatically corruption is deterred. So that is the discussion that we have during the course, pointing up to the students the two different aspects. And today, in the debate, we made, as mentioned, the focus on governmental issues of corruption.
The intention is to repeat the activity as the course progresses.
This debate has been introduced to us.
According to the children's arm of the United Nations, UNICEF, there are about 240 million kids globally with diverse disabilities. This was confirmed based on statistical data collected during comprehensive research carried out by the organization. Statistics also show that 1 out of every 10 children with disabilities are deprived from important aspects of life like health, education, and protection. In Belize, as well as across the globe, this week has been set aside to celebrate children with diverse abilities. Forming part of the week of activities was a sports day hosted at the Maximum Water Park in Corozal Town.
This week we are observing Disability Week, and we started on Sunday with church services. Monday we had sensitization day, so each school had in-house activities where we involved the other classes. Like for example in Ranchito, the Standard 6 students did face painting for our students. Standard 5 went singing songs for them. Standard 4 did an art activity, and the rest of the classes visited to ask questions, to visit with the children, and just to have an idea of what we do in the special ed classrooms.
And today?
Well, today is Sports Day, so we have our classrooms represented. We have San Narciso, Mary Hill, Ranchito, and we are here with our parents to work with our children, to play with them so that they can have a fun day today. Tomorrow we are having a field trip, and we are going to visit Escuela Mexico, where they're going to have a tour around their farm, and after that we will have lunch provided for them.
Okay. And now you mentioned quite a few things of activities that have happened since the week began. It speaks very much to the overall theme of diverse abilities. So as a teacher, again, how does that make you feel?
Well, United in Action, and we have been united for this week. We had the persons from the town council involved, the deputy mayor, the mayor, and they got the water park for us. They are sponsoring the bus for our trip tomorrow. We have our parents getting involved. Yesterday we were invited to the Customs annual Christmas party, so the children got live music and entertainment and gifts with Santa. So this week, all our partners really came out to support our students with diverse disabilities, and I hope that the parents, as much as the children, appreciate this week that we have provided for them.
And the provision of equal opportunities for children with diverse abilities does not only come from the Ministry of Education, but it is a call that also comes from parents.
I feel very good because he's getting integrated, he's socializing more, and it's very, very good to have these activities, right, for them. And I would like to voice up that it needs to be done often and it needs to be done more. More things need to be done for special need kids, right? Well, to me, it's very, very good. I feel very good, and my child, he's right there playing. He feels very good too.
With inclusion becoming an important topic of discussion globally, the Corozal Town Council was also invited to today's special activity.
I am happy here representing the Corozal Town Council. We are happy to be inclusive in the community, and we will continue supporting this type of activities of awareness.
And my understanding is that also on Saturday everybody's gonna gather at the town council also.
Yes, we will be having a movie night on Saturday at 6. The movie is to bring awareness of disability to the parents out there. Come out. These activities help those children with these different diverse disabilities. So come out and support, and this also will help a lot to your kids.
A movie night is planned for all children with diverse disabilities courtesy of the Corozal Town Council. Everyone should be seated before 6 p.m. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, December 8th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.